Welcome everyone to today's emotional story. In this episode, CEO Quan is facing a serious crisis in his company as his rivals secretly sabotage him and spread falsified documents to destroy his reputation. Meanwhile, far away on the farm, Tieu Lac reads his heartfelt letter and becomes deeply worried about him. Unable to simply wait and do nothing, she decides to travel to the city to find him, bringing along some simple food from the farm and, more importantly, the sincere love she holds for the man she cares about. When she arrives at the company, Tieu Lac unexpectedly discovers a dangerous plot targeting Quan. With courage and quick thinking, she manages to find an important clue that helps reveal the scheme behind the attempt to frame him. Her sudden appearance not only brings valuable evidence, but also gives Quan the emotional strength he needs to overcome one of the most difficult moments in his career. If you enjoy touching love stories, emotional moments, and dramatic twists like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a comment to support us. Your support is the motivation that helps us continue bringing more meaningful and exciting stories to you every day. After reading the letter from CEO Quan, Tieu Lac sat quietly for a long time beside the wooden window of her small farmhouse. The afternoon sun slowly moved across the fields outside, casting warm golden light over the rows of vegetables she had carefully planted. Normally, the peaceful countryside helped her feel calm and safe, but that day her heart was restless. She held the letter gently in both hands, reading each line again and again, as if the words might reveal something more hidden between them. Quan had written with warmth and reassurance, telling her not to worry and promising that he would return as soon as the situation at his company stabilized. But Tieu Lac knew him too well. The way he carefully chose his words, the gentle way he told her to take care of herself, it all made her feel that he was hiding how serious the problem truly was. If he had taken the time to write such a heartfelt letter in the middle of a busy crisis, it meant the pressure he was facing must have been enormous. That night, Tieu Lac could not sleep. The countryside was silent except for the distant sound of insects and the soft rustling of wind through the trees. She lay on her bed, staring at the wooden ceiling, imagining Quan alone in the city, surrounded by endless meetings, financial worries, and people waiting for him to make impossible decisions. The thought of him carrying all that responsibility without anyone beside him made her chest ache. "Maybe he is pretending to be strong for me," she whispered softly to herself. The more she thought about it, the more she felt she could not simply stay at the farm and wait. Quan had always protected her, supported her, and believed in her. Now that he was facing a difficult time, how could she remain far away doing nothing? Even if she could not understand business strategies or corporate negotiations, she still wanted to stand beside him, to remind him that he was not fighting alone. As the first light of dawn appeared over the hills, Tieu Lac finally made a decision. She would go to the city and find him. The idea was both frightening and exciting. She had rarely left the countryside before, and the city where Quan worked was huge and unfamiliar. But her determination was stronger than her fear. She quickly washed her face, tied her hair back, and began preparing for the journey. Her preparations were simple, just like her life on the farm. She boiled several sweet potatoes over the small kitchen stove, letting their warm, earthy smell fill the house. Once they were cooked, she carefully wrapped them in a clean cloth so they would stay warm. She knew Quan often skipped meals when he was busy, and she wanted him to have something homemade to eat. She also packed a small bag with a little dried food, a bottle of water, and a few basic supplies for the trip. Everything fit into a simple cloth bag that she carried over her shoulder. Looking around the quiet farmhouse one last time, Tieu Lac took a deep breath. "I'm coming to see you, Quan," she murmured with determination. With the warm bundle of sweet potatoes in her bag and love guiding her heart, Tieu Lac stepped out of the farm and began her journey toward the vast city, unaware that her decision would soon change everything for both of them. After hours of traveling, Tieu Lac finally arrived in the city where CEO Quan worked. The moment she stepped off the bus, she felt completely overwhelmed. The city was nothing like the quiet countryside she was used to. Cars rushed past in endless streams, horns echoed between tall buildings, and crowds of people hurried along the sidewalks without stopping. The air felt heavier, filled with noise and urgency. For a moment, Tieu Lac clutched the strap of her small cloth bag tightly, trying to steady herself. Inside the bag were the boiled sweet potatoes she had prepared that morning, along with a little food and water for the journey. They were simple things, but to her they carried warmth and care. She imagined giving them to Quan after he finished a long day of work, watching him smile with surprise. The thought gave her courage. After asking several people for directions, Tieu Lac finally found herself standing in front of the massive glass building that served as the headquarters of Quan's company. The building seemed to stretch endlessly toward the sky, its reflective walls shining in the afternoon sunlight. Compared to the small wooden farmhouse she had left behind, it felt like an entirely different world. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside. The lobby was spacious and elegant, filled with polished marble floors and bright lights. Employees moved quickly through the hallways, holding documents and speaking in low but urgent voices. At first, Tieu Lac felt shy and unsure of where to go, but as she quietly listened to the conversations around her, she began to sense something unusual in the atmosphere. The expressions on people's faces were tense, and whispers spread from one group to another. "The board is furious. Someone leaked the financial report. If this continues, the CEO could lose everything." Hearing those words made Tieu Lac's heart tighten. She pretended to sit in the waiting area while carefully listening. Gradually, the scattered pieces of conversation formed a troubling picture. A powerful rival company had been secretly attacking Quan's business. They had spread damaging rumors in the market, manipulated financial data, and even tried to convince investors that Quan's leadership had failed. Even worse, some documents had appeared that seemed to accuse Quan of making risky financial decisions that could harm the company. Many people inside the company were confused, unsure whether the information was real or fabricated. But the damage had already begun. Several partners were hesitating, and the board of directors was demanding explanations. Tieu Lac sat there silently, her fingers tightening around the cloth bag in her lap. She could almost imagine how difficult this situation must be for Quan. As the CEO, he had to remain calm and strong in front of everyone, even while others questioned his decisions. The thought of him facing such pressure alone filled her with both sadness and anger. "Someone is trying to destroy him," she whispered under her breath. The realization made her heart beat faster. She had come to the city simply because she missed him and wanted to see if he was all right. But now she understood that the situation was far more serious than she had imagined. This was not just a business problem, it was an attack carefully planned by people who wanted to see Quan fall. Instead of feeling afraid, Tieu Lac slowly stood up, determination shining in her eyes. She might be just a simple girl from the countryside, but she could not stand by and watch the man she loved be treated unfairly. If someone was trying to harm CEO Quan, then she would do everything she could to help him uncover the truth. And at that moment, standing in the middle of the towering company building, Tieu Lac silently promised herself that she would find a way to protect him. Standing quietly in the lobby, Tieu Lac realized that the situation surrounding CEO Quan was far more dangerous than she had imagined. Employees passed by with worried expressions, whispering about meetings with investors and emergency discussions among the company's directors. The atmosphere felt tense, almost suffocating. Yet instead of feeling frightened, Tieu Lac felt a strange calm settle in her heart. She had not traveled all this way just to watch from the sidelines. While sitting in the waiting area, she noticed two men standing near a corner of the lobby speaking in low voices. Their suits looked expensive, but something about their behavior seemed suspicious. They kept glancing around as if they did not want anyone to overhear their conversation. Tieu Lac lowered her head slightly and pretended to focus on her bag, but she listened carefully. "Once the board sees the documents tomorrow, Quan won't be able to defend himself," one of them whispered. "The files are already prepared. The numbers make it look like he made those risky decisions," the other replied quietly. "After that, the investors will lose confidence. The company will fall right into our hands." Hearing those words, Tieu Lac's heart pounded in her chest. Her suspicion was correct. Someone was deliberately setting a trap for Quan. The men continued talking about a small USB device that contained the financial data they planned to present as evidence. That USB, they said, was currently being kept in a briefcase while they waited for the right moment to hand it to someone upstairs. Tieu Lac quickly began thinking. She might not understand complex financial strategies, but she knew one thing. If those files were fake, they could destroy Quan's reputation overnight. Without realizing it, she tightened her grip on the cloth bag that held the sweet potatoes she had brought from the farm. Suddenly, an idea formed in her mind. A few minutes later, the two men moved toward the elevator area. One of them placed the briefcase on a nearby chair while answering a phone call. Tieu Lac slowly walked closer, pretending to look for the restroom. Her heart was racing, but she forced herself to remain calm. When the man turned slightly away, she quickly glanced inside the partially open briefcase. Inside, she saw the small USB drive they had mentioned. In that moment, courage overcame her hesitation. Using a quick and careful movement, she memorized the company logo printed on the documents and quietly took a photo with her phone. Then she stepped away before anyone noticed. It might not have been the USB itself, but the photo could still help reveal the truth behind the falsified reports. Soon after, Tieu Lac finally managed to meet CEO Quan in his office. When Quan saw her standing at the door, dusty from travel and holding her small cloth bag, he froze in shock. "Tieu Lac, what are you doing here?" he asked, disbelief filling his voice. Instead of answering immediately, she walked forward and placed the warm bundle of sweet potatoes on his desk. "I was worried about you, and I think someone is trying to frame you." She showed him the photo she had taken and explained everything she had overheard. As Quan listened, his expression slowly changed from surprise to deep admiration. The simple girl from the countryside had just brought him the clue he desperately needed. In that moment, Quan realized something powerful. No matter how fierce the battles of the business world became, the greatest strength he had was standing right in front of him, Tieu Lac, the woman who would cross any distance and face any danger just to protect him.